All right, I've got 5 o'clock, and I'll call this meeting of the ad hoc committee for the birthday celebration to order, and we'll call the roll, please.
Member Bailey.
Here.
Chairman Brown.
Here.
Member Hunter.
Here.
Member Johnson. Member McPherson. Member Page.
Here.
Secretary Sims.
Here.
Vice Chair Templeton.
Okay, we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the January or the November 6th meeting. Is there a motion after you look over them? Motion by Hunter,
Seconded.
second by Jack. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion is carried. At this time, we've set aside a moment for anybody with the public that would like to address this committee to come up and say your piece. And I've got you here in a minute, and Levi got you here in a minute. And if you show that our other two members are in attendance, so that gets us a full crowd.
It's not 5 o'clock yet.
All right, the next item is continued discussion of the celebration logo. There was some comments sent around by email about the color and that kind of stuff. Any thoughts or comments?
I think one of the comments was what we needed to add, something that said Kingston on it.
The
Wanted to add the actual date to it was one thing. And the other one was about the color, about the black. Carly?
Wrapped all the way around. I'll have to go back and look at them. I don't really know.
the comment was that to add the date across the top in a ribbon-looking thing like it was on the bottom, but not have the black. That looks more like it's too much like in mourning or whatever. Change that color to a blue, then it would be red, white, and blue, pretty much the whole thing, and have the date. And that would be, I think what the comments were, that would be a good example of the logo. I even have that from last time.
Anybody else?
If you drop one color, it should be cheaper.
I'm sorry?
I said if you drop one color, it should be one less colors. Less expensive. But you have the thing at the top.
So the date is the actual birthday is what you want to do on it, Carly, the actual.
Well, my email was about, in the red all the way around, it said, it looked in my head, and I cannot see it. It says city of, and then it says Tennessee in the same color. And that was just throwing me off.
It needed to say Kingston.
Right.
What we talked about.
Right.
Thoughts, comments? Are we gonna do one?
That's up to.
I mean, we've got to send them, we've got to decide what we wanna do and send it to the council and, kind of see how much it's gonna cost.
What you want, I can get it. Of course, you can do another proposal, do another.
Are you wanting to stay with the riverboat?
We don't have one.
Exactly.
I mean, sorry, we don't have one.
That if we change the logo, that changes the city of Kingston's logo, right? We change it, because we're using basically the city of Kingston's logo, we're just modifying it to cover this, is that what we're doing?
So,
The original, a lady in Oak Ridge designed the logo for the city. I don't have this now. Initial stationery had city of, and then it had Kingston like a steamboat. And then when I found out, in like 200th, before that, I had her do some stuff, and I had her tweak it. What I did was I put instead of having the word city of, I had it at the top of the little pilot cage, or whatever you want to call it, at city of. And then I had Kingston, and kind of in the back of the Kingston, I added TN. So that way you know it's City of Kingston, Tennessee. And then the flag had it red. But whatever you all,
regardless of color, it's on your agenda, right at the very, very top.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's right up here on.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
new,
that's it.
'cause I didn't drink it, I just tweaked it and added Tennessee and stuff. Whatever
So
you
is
guys
that what
want.
we're identifying with? If we are, let's go get us a catapult.
Because the normal thing is, I don't know, normally you have to give her a down payment to do the design, but where I've used her in the past, she did the last design at no charge. And I'm sure she can do whatever you want, she can do another design, we'll probably have to give her some seed money, because they're out of California.
Well, the only concern I've got on the thing is if we do a ribbon using the logo that we all looked at initially, which had the black ribbon at the bottom, if we do another ribbon at the top, that matches in proportion. Symmetrical, as long as it's not black. Then it has, to me, it has the appearance of like when you see a law enforcement officer with the black ribbon across their badge in memory of a fallen officer. That's sort of the way it strikes me. I just think we don't need to get away from the black color to have in that pen that it's sort of based off of. There was a nice darker blue that would make it look really good on those ribbons. That's me.
Or if you decide what you want, I can, if she does the format, she can do it in different colors and you can look at it. I don't know how the blue and the blues, but I'd have to see it. It's got a point with the black.
I think we should just propose, because it has to go before city council, is that correct? Propose it with a different color of blue or whatever, I mean, I think the logo looks fine, myself personally. And just propose it, leave off the black, and see if they approve it.
I'm with you on leaving the black off.
Okay, so everybody's pretty well in agreement to leave the black off. We wanna put the birth, or put the actual date across the top.
Cause that's, well, that makes sense, cause that's what we're celebrating, it's October 23rd, 1799. Or 23rd, yeah, 23rd.
So the motion would be that, this committee would like for the council to authorize a logo that we would incorporate in whatever advertisement, whatever releases, and whatever souvenirs or paraphernalia that we may have, that would be the official deal. And we don't have any money, that's the reason it's got to go out to them.
And no black.
No black, so you got.
I make that motion.
Okay. Who wants to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. We had talked about a press release, and Jack wrote us up one. The mayor has looked at it and thinks that's pretty good to get us just started. So, any other discussion, anybody want to add or take away anything from that?
Is that gonna be Kelly's telephone number there with all them X's?
I can guarantee it's not.
All those,
That's
the X's are a name. Who would be the contact person?
Well, we just think it should be somebody on this committee that,
And all of us think it ought to be somebody else.
what the phone is.
I make the motion to put Sunny's name in.
Carly would be my backup.
Or you can put me, I don't, either way. I would think it might be better if we do have two contact points on there, a primary and a secondary.
And we can list them both, and it sure would help to have them on city phones.
She's got the same number.
so who was the primary?
Sunny's primary, Carly's secondary. You want this in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Make a motion that our X's be filled in with Sunny and Carly. You got the same phone number, it stays consistent, so everybody's used to calling that number.
Second by Sharon. Any other discussion?
Is there anything else that anybody thinks, from my perspective, needs to be added? Because I've got the draft on computer ready to be typed, turned over to whomever, huh?
Press release?
Yeah, I've got it saved on computer, so all I gotta do is add names and send it to whomever.
Do we need to add an email?
Yeah, let's put Jack on there too, since he's already got all this, but it won't hurt to have more than.
Okay.
Cause you know, I don't know who all you send it to locally, of course, you can come up with, you three can come up with a press release list, but I'm assuming that it would be not only press, that it would be all county commissioners, all cities, Dudley, Rome County News, Historical Society, Old Courthouse Group. I mean, we won't put everybody on notice that this is gonna happen so that we can start planning when we call. Well, I didn't know nothing about it.
And it needs to be a minimum of once a month, if not sooner.
We'll start sending some kind of updated something out.
Can we ask,
Newsletter.
can we ask that every meeting that the city has, that they add something about it then too?
Well, I'm sure she'll put it on our computer, our website, and
Yeah, but if you don't re-mention it every meeting, they'll go somewhere else.
So I'm sure Mr. Brown will probably bring that up in council discussion during the meetings.
okay. Everybody in agreement with that? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7 is continued discussion and celebration and updates from members regarding the present presented during the previous meeting. If you don't care, I was last time. I'm gonna start first this time. I've reached out to a couple people. We've had some that have volunteered to help us with ideas or with getting things done. Mr. Lethbridge Levi is here tonight. He has offered that if we have food trucks, that he would take that off of us and take care of all food truck vending and scheduling, and we just need to tell them where to go, what to do, and where to do, and you know, I don't know if we can do everything that we're talking about doing, but I'm assuming when we get down to it, something at the port's gonna have a truck, and all of the decisions that would be made would be based on the city policies, based on inspections and fire department and Willie and all that kind of stuff, and where we put them, and where we wouldn't let them go, and what they sell and what they don't sell. Also, I reached out, I went back into some clippings, and I don't know if you all, Glenda probably is from Granny. You know, my family on the Heidel side were big quilting people. You know, they used to strip their living room, and my 3 aunts would move in with my grandmother, and they quilted all winter. I called Verlin Smith, who has a quilting club. They're meeting next week, but she almost guaranteed me that they would be willing to put some sort of quilt together that would demonstrate the birthday. Don't know what it would be, if it just happy birthday, or if they could put a paddle boat or the logo or something that, you know, that them saying yes, they're interested and would be willing to help and do it, especially since we're getting them a year in advance, that would be something. Then what we do with it, display it the whole time, give it to the city, sell chances on it, raise money, or whatever, that could be determined later. But I didn't want to, she's gonna get back, and I told her I'd get back after I brought it up to the committee. Didn't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. I just thought it'd be something neat to have. Every time we have something, we move it around, and it kind of be a backdrop, if you will, if they incorporated, and I'd kind of lean them toward we would lean them toward the logo maybe. And then we could use that as a backdrop if we had any kind of speaking or anything like that.
I think it's a good idea. We do that at the state park where I work, and it is a huge hit every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
But if you don't care, I'll go ahead and I'll report back next meeting after they have their meeting. And then we talked about getting the school system involved. So I reached out to our school board member, our most active school board member, I think. And Nancy, if you'll step up right here with her so that they can hear you on the speaker. and just have a seat there with her.
Sure.
I told her what we had talked about, and she thought it was a good idea. Well, I'll let her speak for herself, but you know, we talked about getting the band involved, getting Cherokee with an essay involved, getting the high school and the parades and all that kind of stuff. So, Nancy, tell us who all you've talked to and what they've said.
Sure. Nancy Hamilton. I have, let me kind of start with Kingston Elementary. I started, had a conversation today with Principal Tim Thompson and Assistant Principal Stephanie Collins. And they would love to maybe do some kind of poster contest. Maybe we can do it through all grades, but maybe the lower grades. And then maybe if you wanted to consider, Mr. Brown did mention about an essay contest. Mrs. Jill Corm at Cherokee Middle School is very interested in that part. So she does want to do that with the CMS. Rome County High School, I've talked with the principal, of course, but I've also talked with Keith McDaniel, who oversees our audiovisual program at Rome County High School, has our students teaching them skills that's going to be go beyond their high school education. And so he would love to be a part of some kind of video production. In talking to him just this morning about this, I've talked to him several times, he suggests that probably this type of project, because the students change every semester, he could start it in the spring, but it probably would be better starting it in August. So if he can do a lot of the work preliminary and have his students in August when school returns back to get on that project for their class, he would be happy to work with us on that. Also, Ellen Daly, who is our sponsor, faculty sponsor for the student council there. She's in charge of our parade. She said she would love to be a part if we were going to do some type of parade, joint efforts. But also she would like to volunteer student council members that lead our school activities to be involved in, you know, being a part of leading some way, somehow in some of the activities of the day, because they have to do so many hours of volunteer service work. So that's what we've kind of started, and I told them I would be back in touch with them after reporting to Mr. Brown, and I'm happy to help facilitate in any way. I'm just thankful that you all would be kind enough to involve our children, because as you all know, we need to do all we can to invest in the next generation and teach them about our history. And so they get a lot of Tennessee history when they get to middle school, but they don't get a lot of Kingston, Tennessee history. So this is an opportunity for our schools to really be involved. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we thank you for stepping up and helping us. Any of y'all have any questions for her or any other suggestions or something that she needs to take back to either one of the three schools? Ms. Johnson?
Did you talk to the drama club or the drama class?
We haven't, but we can. And so one thing I did that I did not mention, I'm glad you mentioned that. Mrs. Natasha Hudson is over our art program. She said if we wanted to even consider doing some kind of sculpture kind of experience, their students do that, but we can talk to them about the drama club if you want that to happen. That's a great idea.
If we're gonna do a play, it would be good to have the students do that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll tell you even another thing, I don't know who would do this, and I'm just kind of talking out loud here. I know that our children at Kingston Elementary in their after-school program do some kind of arts and drama clubs. Our high school students could come and involve them somehow, you know, kind of making sure that they're leading in that effort as well. So we might be able to combine some efforts. So I think really probably what our folks that I've talked to are wanting to know, what are the specific, they're happy to do it, whatever you want them to do, but just when does it need to be due and how the process by which to create these experiences for these children. But I will put that on my list to contract the drama. Ms. Glenda, that's great.
Anybody have anything else or any other suggestions? I think she just needs to carry on and report back at our next meeting what update, and then we.
You know, we're trying to, I think it was the 150th anniversary. One time they did a play, and one time they did a song.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find,
Yeah.
how simple or how complicated.
That's a great thing, Mr. Hunter, and one thing that I have not contacted, but this would be an incredible opportunity. Our elementary students has a choral program, very beginning choral program, and they sing at different events around our county, and Miss Mull would be, I haven't asked her, but I'm sure she would be delighted to be a part of that. I think, I guess from you guys, give me some direction. Is it okay that, you just want them to do something? Do you have definite ideas? I think they're willing to do whatever. We just want to make sure it makes the most impact and gets the most people involved.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. McPherson.
What I have written down here from what I've heard Ms. Hamilton talk about, and I would like to emphasize that I love the phrase, create experiences for our young people. And I think that needs to be an emphasis, that everywhere we can, because history is what this is all about. History is important. They will learn from that, but they'll learn more from their experiences than they will from reading them old dusty books.
Yeah, and one thing in talking with Kingston Elementary folks as well as Cherokee is that, and if we even go the route for the art club at Rome County High School, is there a way that some of this their work could be demonstrated or could be shown and be at the, I'm just throwing out ideas here, at the old courthouse where people can come by and look at their work, and then also we also talked about, could whoever wins an essay contest from the middle school, could they present their essay at some public gathering, at a city count? I mean, that kind of thing. Because I think one of the things that 4-H does, our 4-H program does, it does a great job giving students an opportunity to practice their speaking skills. And I think we're only piggybacking on what they're doing as well. So I would love to see our students' work showcased in a way that really matters and makes them feel important and a part of this community.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this the last meeting. Whatever we do, they do it at whatever the biggest festivity that we have where we gather and have the most folks.
Yes.
But as far as demonstrating and showcasing their stuff, I don't know if it's feasible or not, but we've got two of the Parks and Rec people here. I would like to go back and check the agenda and see, get not the main room, but either the old council room or what is that, ABC or CD, whatever it is, that we reserve that for this committee the entire month of October. That'd be something we could lock up, that we put things on display there and let people come in and look at it during the whole month of October. If we put the quilt there, if we put the essays there, if we put the art there. And then since we've started this, if y'all are on Facebook, there's a gentleman who has been putting all kinds of, who's been putting all kind of old articles. How many people have got stuff like that? It would be neat. And I know that, did you send them the copy of the video that your mother had? Okay. I want to show you that. That's where they did the video like I was talking about before, just walk around video. It's got all the old people, and we sat in here the other night, the mayor and David and Kelly and I, trying to say, well, that's Norm Sugarman right there, and he's about 17, and that's so and so, and we were trying to look at everybody that her mother had. But things like that we could put together in one place. I thought about the old courthouse, then I thought, well, maybe it's just Kingston if we could bring them down there.
The old council room, because that can be locked, and it even has an outdoor entrance.
Yeah.
It's secure.
But I didn't know what the schedule was, and we may not even.
We got two rooms that are basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as I know ahead of time,
Yeah.
especially this far ahead of time, we can block off A, which is the old council room, and the other room is D, and whatever's in A can go to D.
Okay, but I could see, talking about the artwork, we used to put local citizens' artwork on the halls out in the lobby. Well, then I thought, well, if something happened to it, if it's not locked up, but if we could put it in that chamber, because it still has the carpet in it, doesn't it?
No,
It's gone, okay, it's all wood now. But even if we had easels, or if we put it, I'm not talking about the whole wall, I'm talking about something that you could put tables up around and displays with a little bit, so that they stop and actually look at it, go to the next thing, stop and look at it, go to the next thing, stop and look at it. But we gotta have a place, and makes sense to have it at Kingston.
I will say this, Miss Hudson at Rome County High School, she does a spring and fall showcase every year of our art students, and they display their work at our old auditorium, which I wouldn't suggest that place, but it is packed. Parents come through, they do it kind of an after work kind of thing. Our students are there showcasing their work, and you can ask questions, those kind of things. They always kind of gather at the very end. Like let's just say they do like a showcase from 5 to 7, and right at 7 o'clock they do kind of a large group gathering, and the awards are announced for who won that, and there are so many parents there, and because their student is showcasing. So I think anything that we can do to help build confidence, give our students experiences in public speaking, would be worth every ounce of energy we could pour into it.
Okay.
So that event is actually something that is pre-scheduled every year?
It is. It is. So she pre-schedules it based on her class. So it's usually closer to the end of the semester because our students change, and she gives them a theme.
So the theme could be?
Yes. So, yeah.
125th birthday of
Yeah.
Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
And so you check that box early on, that's the art part of it already scheduled, it already has a location, but we give them the theme.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean,
Okay.
of course, I'll need to talk with her about that, but she is, Roane County High School faculty, all of these faculty members have been nothing but positive. They want to be a part of this community, and whatever we can do to help get our children involved, they're more than willing. I know, things like homecoming are kind of a preset date, but Ellen said, even once we kind of know what we want to do, we can begin working, and I'm happy to work with them, be the liaison to do that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
one thing just came to mind on that. I understand, I think last meeting, I believe, Mr. Mayor, you're gonna be putting out some kind of proclamation for the month of October. We probably need to, for any event, anything that we're doing, like with the schools or community organizations or whatever, we need to have a drop dead date that all these different things and items be done and ready to go on display or to show or meeting by certain times. For sake of discussion, let's say the last Friday of September or something like that. So we probably need to have that in place so that we're not running around going crazy in the last day trying to figure out where everything's at and get it done.
Yeah.
And that gives, and get that published here rather soon. That gives some people a time frame to work against.
And I would even suggest, to kind of piggyback on that, Mr. Sims, is that if we have any kind, once we get our publicity kind of out, we could send that home with in packets at schools to do that. So they're happy to help communicate what's going on, and here's where your children are going to be involved in our community. So I think you may not know dates at that point, but you know what they're doing, and we're looking ahead. This is from the city of Kingston, and your children are going to be involved. I think that's going to help communicate.
Is that something that we could set at the next meeting and let her go back and report to the school and let them get the date of the semesters and we'll have this and
Okay.
that's a good date and then come back, because it sounds like that's going to be the deal that's going to be most notifications. And if you do it, you can almost do it like a little art gallery down there, if you will, because what I really envision is during that month that one night we have something at the fort, one night we have something at Bethel, one night we have, and I want to make sure we incorporate Bethel in this too, and that we have something at the courthouse, new and old, or something, so that we've got something that they can plan ahead and do. We may have 3 things at the fort.
It may be, as a lot of people in this county know, for example, coming up, I have my event this Saturday, but Cornstalks Heights Historic District is having their Christmas deal this coming Saturday. We may want to look at, as a committee, is reaching out to the historic homes, all of them, and have a historic home tour during that month.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of homes that reach back in time on that, and it would have to reach out to the homeowners, see if they'd be interested in opening their homes, that kind of thing.
So let's try to set that date at the January meeting. Anything else, Miss Nancy?
No, I think that's all.
Thank
if I
you.
can help you in any way.
You've already gone far and beyond what I thought we could accomplish in 30 days. The last 2 things that I have, I've reached out. Don't know if this is a good idea or not, but it's old. We were talking about reenactors. I've reached out to the Tennessee Old Timers Baseball Association. They're supposed to get back with me week after next. That is in their season. They have played here in Kingston before, but there would be 2 teams that would come and dress up, put their own fence up. We just play it in a yard. I'm thinking about at the old fort and having it at the all-purpose field down there. Yeah, not at the baseball field, because that looks too. Yeah, more closer to the fort, and that would bring some outside people in, because they said it would probably be the mechanics from, one from Knoxville and one from Nashville. They travel anyway, and all dress up and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't care, I'll let you know by January what they say too. Then the very last thing that I have, if you look, our January meeting is scheduled for Monday the 1st, and I didn't think we want to meet on Monday the 1st. I noticed that the calendar, Jack has put it to the 8th. That's great. My suggestion would be move it to the 2nd and meet at 4 o'clock and stay for the work session for the Kingston City Council, and let's report to them as a group. Does that make anybody's
I move that
itch?
we do that.
And then if they've got any suggestions, they can bring them to us. Mr. Mayor? Yeah. If we meet at 4, yeah, our meetings are only going to last an hour on this until we get close.
Okay.
5.
Work
Okay.
session's at 6.
Yeah, they meet at 6, or we meet at 6, so. Then we'll say at 5 o'clock, is that okay? Is there a motion to that effect so that,
So moved.
Jack, second? Ms. Glenda, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Now then, I hated to be so long-winded. I've taken up 20 minutes of your time, but,
Do you want me to follow up on the logo?
yeah. Please?
I'll work with you, Sonny.
So you want to do the same format we did the last time? Let's go around, because I know that some of you have done some work and sent some things out, and we'll make it official. Your Honor?
The only thing that I would add, you all have covered most everything that I had talked about last week, last time, and made in mind, is the possibility of a reenactment at the fort, and contacting some people about the from the Oak Ridge reenactors. You're talking about the baseball team. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the soldier thing. And if I'm remembering correctly, Jim Rivers is a man who would know something about the people to contact about that. All the other things that I discussed last week, you all have already touched on tonight.
Would you be willing to reach out to Jim and?
Sure.
Okay. Ms. Carly?
I've got a whole list.
Okay, good. List, I like that.
So one thing that I thought about is we have a lot of people from Kingston who kind of like made a name for themselves. Someone I can think of just off the top of my head is Cooper Mays. You know, he plays for Tennessee. He's from Kingston. If we had like a meet and greet, if we could come up with a list of people from Kingston who kind of made a name for themselves. Another one I can think of is Ben Allen. He was, I believe, on The Voice. He's down in Florida right now, singing, living his best life. Saw him on Facebook the other day.
Ben Briley.
Who?
Ben Briley.
Yeah, I mean, we can come up with a whole list of people, and just kind of having like a meet and greet with them one night. Another thing that I kind of thought about, depending on how long we want to make this event last, I think it would be kind of cool to have like a haunted trail kind of near the fort, or like a haunted house somewhere. It's another way to kind of get the kids involved. I kind of feel like a lot of kids would like that. I'm from Harriman, and a lot of the kids really enjoyed the haunted house that they had down there. But the haunted trail I feel like would be super cool because we have like a perfect spot for it up near the fort. I thought that would be kind of neat. Kind of going off of the schools, does each school have like a fall fest kind of deal?
Not really, but, they do some kind of fundraiser, but not necessarily Kingston Elementary PTO does one, but it's more toward Christmas.
Okay, well, I just put it on here just as throwing it as an idea, but, kind of having like a fall fest maybe that we would attend and, help set up, just something fun for them, kind of like a field day almost.
That's the one that they do on Saturday, like the, what's it called, Sonny, that we just got through doing? The Kingston City.
No, you're talking about one at the school.
Like, yeah, at the
Okay.
school. I don't know, just kind of idea. Another thing I kind of thought about, I know that the whole Peaches thing is like, I don't really know the history behind it, but like Peaches is like a big thing in the history.
In history, yeah.
What if we had like a thought about having like a veterans night. We had a breakfast, at the community center for veterans, and it was a hit. And I know once we get the word out more about it, we'll have more. So veterans are definitely active in our community, and there are plenty of them around. So I thought we could definitely, emphasize a night for them. Another idea was to have like a trivia night, come up with a bunch of questions about Kingston's history and have a trivia night. And then another thing, just to kind of get people moving around the city a little bit, just to see different things, is to have like a scavenger hunt. Not really sure how I would go about that, but just to get them in different areas. You could have something at the old courthouse, the new courthouse, down at the center. You could have it at the fort. You could have different hints, different places, and just kind of get them moving around the city, just to see some stuff. So I don't know, just some ideas.
Yeah, I thought about the scavenger hunt. You put all those things, make them go take a picture with their phone of the monument at the old courthouse, Capitol Day. Kingston was Capitol of the Day. Well, you got to show us that we'll take a picture of it. But yeah, that's
So those are all ideas that I come up with. I don't know if we want to play off any of those, but
Okay.
that's what I come up with.
that's a whole lot more than we talked about last week.
I
Wasn't
know,
it?
I saw last time.
Miss Sharon, you've got bad news, I think.
No, I don't have any bad news. I think all of this is exciting. I think we need to, in January, on Facebook, or whatever's their best way to communicate, to let everybody know, like Glenda said repeatedly, this is coming, we're doing this, so people that are planning other events don't schedule their events in conflict with anything that we're
Especially that
doing.
week, that whole week.
Yes. And I think on some of these things, like Nancy was talking about the schools and what they already have planned, I think we can do a lot of this with things that are already planned, do that week, but I think we're gonna find ourselves doing stuff all year long in celebration of this 225th.
I hope we do. I hope we
The
do.
Kingston 4th of July parade, that's no more, let's
do
get
it
it
early.
out there early and say we're gonna have it this year, and your floats can depict the 225th birthday, but I mean, we need to be putting all this and assembling it and deciding, these are the things we're gonna do, these are good ideas, but we're not gonna do them this go.
And the bad news I was talking about, your report on the boat can't come.
No,
They won't
but
move
you
it.
said it, not me, so I didn't.
It was
report
not bad news, it's just they won't move it.
They just won't be here.
They won't move it.
Yeah.
They won't move it.
And I know the mayor is working on that also, that he's trying to fix it to where we can have the city council meeting at the old courthouse upstairs in the old courtroom, to move it down to be part of that month.
When we might try, every so often they have like the Olympics at Southwest Point, is maybe we could come up with some kind of like old fashioned, like we used to do them, like the sack race, or the tug of war, or not the egg toss, but something like that, combine them.
You used to do a sack race, did you? Mr. Chairman,
Sandy wouldn't know if you did it.
I really like the idea, first of all, of the just constant newsletter kind of thing. I really like that, and I really like the idea of taking the two things together, of something starting, in April, aimed at an event, perhaps on the courthouse square, if Mr. Bailey's can, something, keep people's interest in it, that it is going on, that it is more than just the month or the day, that it is this whole season.
Good. Maybe if I can get that straight, so in everything, as we go on, like using the public events, like the Spring Street Festival, 4th of July, this year it's gonna be themed toward the birthday.
And publicity to let people know that that is
Publicity,
actually
same way.
happening.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Miss Glenda?
Okay, so talking about the fall color tour, we have several subdivisions within the city of Kingston that we could kind of draw people in from other places. So my suggestion is I don't care to send out the letter, Kelly will help me, I'm sure, to the people within that subdivision to tell them we're gonna be doing tours in your neighborhood in this particular time frame that would maybe help them get a lot of things straightened up looking neater. If there's a place we needed to get something changed around, we could do that by using what we're gonna be doing then. The parade, the 4th of July parade, we need to get all the businesses involved in that we possibly can. And the notifying people about something constantly keep it going, that's where they're gonna start talking about it and keep it involved and make it be a real good event. And I need that guy's number.
No? Okay. Jack?
Got a couple of quick responses on reenactment groups. Counselor, the reenactment group in Oak Ridge has already reached out to me.
Okay.
So we're going to be working with them. I've had a coordinator for several reenactment groups out of the Carolinas and Virginias. He's interested. I sent him the basic information about what we're doing here for our celebration. He's going to reach out to these different groups and see which ones they'd be interested in coming in and participating. I've had a number of reenactment vendors, people that come in. They're dressed in period outfits, and they create and craft period crafts and things that would be done in the 1700s in the time of the founding of our city. Are very interested in coming and setting up around on the grounds. So at this point, the only thing I really truly need to set is a firm date that I can start giving these people for a reenactment at the fort. And going back to what we discussed in the last meeting, the actual founding date of the city of Kingston is October 23rd, 1799. 2024, that rolls around on a Wednesday.
Tuesday. 24?
In October 2024, the birth date's is actually on a Wednesday. It's the 23rd.
And the street fest is the 26th.
And the 26th, the following weekend after that is the street fest. So I would like to firm the date up of the 18th, 19th, 20th. It's a 3-day reenactment festival.
Have you checked the chamber to be sure, or some of the other cities?
That nothing's going on like that.
Whether they do or not, I need a weekend, and I need to get that firmed up, because these reenactment groups won't really commit at all unless they've got a firm date that they can work to.
So, Mr. Chairman, sounds like Jack's got that under control. What I would suggest, same thing I suggested when we talked about that date last time, it is still the 3rd Saturday in October, and you all need to pay attention to that. If you back it up a week, you're not on the 3rd Saturday in October, and the world comes to an end on the 3rd Saturday in October in East Tennessee. If we're going ahead, that's fine. I'm just telling you.
If we want to back it up a weekend, that's fine, but I just need
Why don't you go ahead and check and report next meeting they can do it or they can't do it, and call around, send emails back and forth. May not be able to get them that whole week until the week of the 26th, and that's going to be when we're having that other. That may be a good thing.
To bring it in for the whole month.
I mean, even though we've got
Something for the month.
our festival, they may go. I was always against having one in Rockwood when they had Rockwood and had Kingston's, but there was a lot of those people, if you get the vendors, that went to both of them. The buyers went to both of them. So I don't know. Why don't you check on the dates that they can come? For sure. Kind of see what they're.
Yeah. And see, it may be that we even have them up earlier in the month to
Could
keep
be.
the whole month.
And I'm not opposed to it. I'm just telling you, if you want
Yeah.
people watching, they're likely to be watching something else.
And it's here this next.
It's here this year. That's right.
Maybe it won't be such a big crowd if they get beat bad this time.
Where is your spirit? And your God.
Yo, anything else, Jack?
That's it.
Sonny? Sonny said nay. Robert?
All right.
Mr. Historian, you ought to have a suitcase full of stuff.
Well, I've been trying. I've been looking for files because, thanks to Rachel Parker, who loves flipping newspaper articles. We do have a large number of articles from different events in 1949, 1974. The one thing that I'm trying to figure out is, the material that we have, the newspaper articles, study of Kingston, is how do we make that accessible to people? You know, I know there's a lot of things that people aren't gonna be interested in, but, you know, it might be some things that the kids, you know, may be interested or can research, the pictures or articles and stuff. I guess what my question is, you know, there's different things on the fire department, police department, whatever, is how to make these accessible to whoever may want to, you know, do an exhibit on the fire department or the police department, whatever. So that's kind of my situation, my thoughts. You know, we had talked about the reenactment at the old courthouse of Kingston people. I've come up with an ideal of the people that are prominent in Kingston. We'll need whoever's going to be the people that do this, try to give them a history of those people, and that way they can, you know, elaborate and
I really wish that you would do a script and they stick to that script, because we don't want them saying something that's not in,
right.
and it can get changed in translation. So if they use a script, we got it.
Right. I agree with you, because it's like most stories, you know, it gets added on, and before you know it, it's become history itself. So I think you're right. So that's kind of like what I've been looking at, post offices. I've had on my computer references to the fire department, police department, other historical articles. So it's just a matter of me pulling them out, you know, from the newspapers or whatever. So it's kind of like what I've been doing to try to pull these together, you know.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask
Yes.
Mr. Bailey a question? One of the things that occurs to me about that, you talked about how to get it out. Talking about what Ms. Hamilton talked about with Keith McDaniels, if it could be digitized and then have an outdoor screen up against the old courthouse for those people who wanted to come and have that in that kind of a, it's a Ken Burns kind of movie kind of thing, that may be something that would draw interest. That would require you working with the audio-visual people, but it would be something that we could treasure too.
It'd also be something that we can maybe sell, like a jump drive or something like that they could keep with them. That might be a fundraiser part too.
I know Parks and Rec has that big screen. I mean, I know it's probably old looking, but
Well,
but as long as we showed it at night, we're,
could-
you know,
yeah.
we could set that up anywhere, whether it be on the old courthouse lawn or at the amphitheater or wherever. Or at many places. I mean, once we get
Move
that
it.
done, you could put that in different places.
Talking about that, it may be worthwhile to, everybody's gonna shiver, reach out to the local Comcast community channel. Because by FCC regulations, they're required to have a local community channel available on the internet. And so we may want to start, if we get that developed, start having that available and advertising it back so people can go to that channel and look at it and see it. Maybe another way to get it out there to the people.
Channel, the Roan State television station has agreed to do that. And they change kids like everybody else through semesters. Like this semester, he doesn't have but 3 TV people, but he's got several communications people. And they've moved all that from Harriman, and I think just the other day they moved it. It used to be Channel 15. They've moved it somewhere else, so it's not on 15 anymore. But I talked to him at the parade the other night, and he said that more than happy, just guide him somewhere and tell him exactly what he wanted.
And off of the city's website, direct them to that channel or whatever.
Yeah, we have our YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
Did everybody look at the little program from 1949 that was on with your agenda? See, that's the kind of stuff that's neat to me, that you go back and look at. George Browder was on the city council, and Sterling Roberts was the mayor, and the street department, Bus Miller. You know, I wouldn't have thought about Bus. You know, that's kind of stuff that would interest me to look at one of these places. And, you know, there's Mrs. Robert Crowder. You know, how many people do that anymore? Mrs. Tony Brown. My wife would whoop me. You know, it's, yeah. You know, homecoming services, and that's something, you know, we could get, go out to all the churches and have them to have some kind of homecoming to the Kingston people during that month. So, you know, just drawing from that. So, sounds like we've got our plate full for next meeting too, and that we've come up with a lot of answers and things from last time. But just keep working, I would say, and let's get the things that we need firm dates on. If we'll try to check on those, and sounds like Nancy and them's going to do it. And Levi, we thank you for y'all know Mr. Ledford back here in the back. Raise your hand back there. That volunteered to help with whatever food services that we needed. Because I think the mayor's idea about this committee was a steering committee to reach out, and I don't think he or the city expects us to be there and take up tickets and sweep and do everything. The more that we can get out and get everybody else to do, the better off we are.
Mr. Brown, can I say just a few things?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
I know, but I won't take up too much time.
Yield to you. Go ahead.
Just if you were to look at the emblem behind Mr. Brown there, as far as adding in the date, I would take that riverboat as it is. We all know that in 1799 it was either riverboat or horse or you walked. So I mean, I know we don't have the riverboat now, but when this city was founded, and before that, that was the main means of transportation. So you could take your October on one side of the bottom of that riverboat and put your 23rd on the bottom other side of that riverboat, and that way that incorporates your date into that emblem. You don't change the emblem, you keep it intact. You don't add anything to it, then you can figure out your color scheme, whether it be blue for the water, red for the boat, vice versa. Miss Hamilton, I've worked with her on a few things, and she is fantastic. Maybe look at, I don't know if the drama would do, I know like Ridgeview, I don't know if Kingston does it, they do a hall of statues where these kids dress up as somebody famous. And like, I'm sorry, what is your name, ma'am? Carly, like Carly said, we've got quite a few, not necessarily Kingstonians, but maybe East Tennesseans. You know, you've got Andrew Jackson, John Severe, things of that nature. So they can, you know, not really Kingston history, but it's a part of the history that those guys, I'm sure, traveled through here at one point in time. And also, I would need to know, you know, we talk about having the festival that weekend. I don't know if you have any contacts with Fort Loudon Historic Park over there and that reenactment group, but I know they do, their yearly thing over there is, you know, phenomenal. From the teepees to the cannons to the cowboys and Indians, all that stuff. I don't know if there's anybody there that we could reach out to that might add to the group. But if you did the Kingston Fest that day from 11 to 4, 11 to 5, whatever, and then had the reenactment of some sort that night, culminating in everybody going to the fort and seeing this and seeing the time period to, are we still allowed to fire off the cannon? Only if Tony lets us. So if Mr. Brown would, you know, adhere to us firing off the cannon as a, you know, just an ending shot for that day of festivities. But as far as the food trucks, if we want to do it, depending on how many days, I just need to know within the next probably 2 or 3 months, because these guys will start booking summer and fall here by March. I know we've got our next food truck festival rolls around in April, I think, so they'll be down here for the April Wednesday night services down here on food truck Wednesdays, and so I'll need to get with those guys and just be a matter of what, if you guys want something that's related back to those early days of soups and sandwiches and things of that nature, if you just want them to bring what they serve best and do it that way.
All right.
Thank you and most of all, thank you guys for doing this. I know this is a huge task. Thank you for taking this upon yourselves.
Mr. Mayor, we're going to close with you.
The only thing I've got is in my mind, I'm thinking on the 23rd of October, and it's a Wednesday, with that afternoon, having governor, senators, and congressmen, and everyone invited to go to the courthouse and have a cake and kind of that sort of celebration. And that's what I need to know, if that's all right with you guys, because I'll need to go ahead and start sending letters out to get on calendars. Because getting those guys scheduled 6 months in advance is not easy. Now we've got about 8 months in advance or 9, and I'd like to go ahead and send them a letter on intention of having it on the 23rd of October. We would like for them to be there. They will get more information when it gets
You wanna do it on the Wednesday, on that day?
I would like to do it on the day. Well, that's a good idea, cause it's not like a Saturday, cause they're already at work, giving drifts, so. When it's election year, so a lot of the senators and congressmen and stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Cause you
You'll
get
show up for
the
that.
sheet cake.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking about that, I wonder if we could get with Nitschke's and Betty Rose, the two bakeries here in town,
And give
and
some
see if
big-
they would collab together and make a huge, like a,
Yeah.
one of the old courthouse or something like that.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the idea that I would like to do, so we can get those dignitaries here. If you saw that 1949, program that Tony's talking about, you know, had the governor here, and then, I don't know, a lot of the mayor of Chattanooga was here, I'm not sure that one happened.
Their singing group was there.
Oh, okay.
They had a choir there that came.
You know, we can coordinate something with, and I was looking, if you ever see me in a meeting, I'm looking at my phone, I'm not looking at, I'm looking at minutes, I'm looking at dates and stuff. It was looking to see, and I worked deleted the football schedule for the high school. We could get something incorporated either the Friday before or the Friday after one of those games, and kind of get them more involved that way also.
I like that, if we could reach out to high school, but pick one of those games like you're talking about, it'd be really neat to have on the center of the football field, the 225th logo painted on the center of the football field for that game.
Mayor, what time do you think with those people, is that a nighttime deal or a 1 o'clock
In the
deal?
afternoon?
It being a church day, you know, I don't wanna get into church services.
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
Let's see, it's not scheduled.
I think an afternoon would be better.
Afternoon
2
deal?
o'clock?
2 o'clock.
So if we said a 2 o'clock birthday party, that way we could incorporate the high school and have the band there to play. That may be, depending on the list of people that say they're gonna come, that may be something that we need. I don't know if they'll all go inside the old courthouse or not. That may be
Well,
where
we
we
can have
look
the
at that
tent.
tent.
The question I just asked Kim, is that when the food truck rally is? Cause you're gonna have a lot of people there for food truck rally.
They don't have it in October, do
Is that,
they?
yeah, we usually quit in October.
October this year, so you have fall one is October.
Yeah, I think it's through.
You'll have a lot of parents
We
there.
could incorporate all that in and go right into that.
Well, if you set up if you do it on the 23rd, remember like the big tent they had, what was it for,
The gala.
the gala, you could set it up for that week, the 23rd, and leave it up for the street fest on the 26th.
The only
Yeah.
drawback with that, the last time I heard somebody say something about it, it was $6,000.
I'm thinking your concept though of having on the Wednesday at 1 or 2 in the afternoon works out real good. And Robert, tell me if I'm wrong, but I know for special occasions and since the repairs were made, they could actually be on the balcony to do some kind of announcement. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, limit, you're not gonna put the whole crowd up there, but if you wanna have the governor and all that kind of read a proclamation, he could be up there or on the balconies on the Kentucky Street side.
That's what they did.
I haven't heard anybody against having it on the 23rd around 2 o'clock.
I just wanna get that out there to.
So,
I make the motion that we establish October 23rd as the official date for the whatever officials, whatever you need to do,
let him
And-
go send his invitations out.
so the invitation can go.
And these are recommendations that we make to the city council, because they're gonna have to do the whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get this for city council next, then send out, right?
We'll talk about it at our meeting in January, but you need to get that for then though, don't you?
I'm gonna go ahead and sit it down. as-
Yeah, I don't think the city council's gonna bother about the mayor inviting somebody down. So let's just say the 23rd, 2 o'clock is our official birthday party, and let him go out and send out. Cause see, the courthouse is gonna be open at that time, so those people, if you have all those elected officials, governors and mayors and everybody coming, there's gonna be a crowd out there.
You mean the people who are running for office?
I would just make note that, we want children to be involved, they would have to be transported there by buses, and that would get into our bus schedule for the afternoon, and that could not happen. So, I'm not saying they couldn't be a part, but I'm just saying they would have to be back at school to get back on the bus. So just know that that's gonna be pretty tight when buses start arriving at schools around 3:10 to get those children home. So that's just something to think about.
Well, you could do it you could start at 10 or 11 o'clock too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanna make sure I get that date on some calendars.
Birthday
Let's do
cake
the
gets cut
date,
at
you
2
take
o'clock.
care of the time with the officials. If the governor can't be here at 2 o'clock, and he can be here at 10 o'clock, we have it at 10 o'clock, I would think.
Yeah, Tony was talking about the video that we watched, that was really cool to see. And then the other day, we were looking at the, minute book from 1897, to look back to see if they did anything in 1899 in the minute book about the 100-year. It's really cool to see the laws and stuff that they've done, about fining, $10 fine, and you stay in jail as long as the mayor says you do. Stuff like that, so it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Old stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else?
The only one other thing going once again at what Ms. Hamilton was talking about, and if you're going to have this celebration, you have 3 or 4 different opportunities to have a choral group. You could have the Roman Choral Society. You could have at the First Baptist Church, we've got a guy by the name of Ron Green who loves to put on stuff. But more than anything else, we've got the high school group, and that could all be incorporated. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If the schedule doesn't allow for the schooling, that band, you've got, you reach out to the Babahatchee band.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
you could probably, when they walk there for the parade, if you do if it's at 2 o'clock, it doesn't have to be the full 100 and something band, it's just whoever they can get to come, and they can walk there and be done by 3 o'clock and walk back.
Okay.
The ones that ride, not really ride
That'd be
buses
great.
anymore.
I was just saying for.
Just, yeah.
Elementary.
CMS or Kingston Elementary, that would be a kind of nightmare.
Guys, we've got a lot done tonight, I think, Mr. Mayor. You done? You got anything else? Anybody else have anything? We'll try to keep you at an hour. We're an hour and 2 minutes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's it. Thank y'all.
Things tell me that you don't use a flathead board, and then I know that there's a plate behind the motor so that it can go on and out.
Not that I know of anyway.
Trying to remember how it goes. That's his last name. Yeah, but I've got him on his last name. Blake Hall. 865 407 5597.
Yeah.
I've got another meeting to go to.